Hi everyone, and welcome to session 3. In session 3, I've started to develop what we're going to be looking at this week. You're going to be reading chapters 6 and 7. I have a couple of interesting sites right here related to the unemployment rate. And you'll notice these are very unique sites because these sites are going to be looking at how the unemployment rate is calculated. And you'll notice that there's some challenges with the calculation of the unemployment rate. So make sure to focus on that video. I think you'll really enjoy that. You have your devotion, which is not graded, but it's a great place to participate in the course. We also have the discussion question for this week. In the discussion question, make sure that your answer is in APA formatting, and I'm looking for about 3 to 4 paragraphs to answer your question. And your first post should be by Wednesday, and you should have an APA formatted in-text citation and reference to support your work. So make sure to really focus on those key areas in your work. You also have the Chapter 6 quiz, Chapter 7 quiz, and the Week 3 homework. And what I'm going to do is go over the Week 3 homework and the questions that you'll see and go over some help with those questions because I think that people will like that. Now, is it possible for the unemployment rate to increase at the same time the number of employed persons are increasing? In this question, make sure to focus on the calculation of the labor force, which is the unemployed plus the employed. Question 2. Why might job reentrants have a harder time finding a job than job losses? On this question, you want to focus on how individuals have a loss of skill when they don't work. Question 3. How can outsourcing of U.S. computer jobs generate new U.S. jobs in the construction or retail industry? So when people lose your jobs, they're going to gain more skills in other areas. So focus on that question. Question 4. What percentage of the civilian labor force was employed? To find this calculation, you want to take how many are employed out of the adult population. Make sure to answer it as right here, 12.34 as your answer. Don't put the percent in. Question 5. What percentage of the civilian labor force was unemployed? So it's unemployed over the labor force. Okay, unemployed over the labor force to find that calculation. What percentage of the population was employed in civilian jobs? So that is employed over the adult population. Employed over the adult population. Question 7. Between 2000 and 2010, how much did the labor force increase? How many people entered the labor force? More people. Not the change, but how much was it in 2000 and 2010? That difference right there. Question 8. How much did total employment increase? How many more jobs were created? Question 9. What is the total unemployment in the change from 2000 to 2010? Question 10. How much did total output increase? Okay, how much did total output increase from 2000 to 2010? Question 11. Between 1980 and 2010, how much did the labor force participation rate of men fall? So how much did this participation rate fall? Question 12. How much did the labor force participation rate for women increase? You'll notice that there's an increase in the amount of women that are participating in the labor force, whereas there's a decline with men. And it's been a very tough environment. And it's a very hard explanation because more women are participating, more women are going to college, compared to less men participating in the labor force. Question 13. Describe here to determine the type of unemployment. So we want to figure out which one of these unemployed, what type of unemployment are these workers. So if it's a seasonal unemployment, this is someone that loses their job because of the season. It will happen the same time every year. Someone that's frictionally unemployed is someone that is in between jobs. Someone that is cyclically unemployed lost their job because consumers are not buying as much, which is dealing with recessions. And someone that is structurally unemployed lacks skills. Question 14. Why would farmers rather store their output than sell it during periods of hyperinflation? How would this behavior of controlling supply affect prices? So that's what you want to focus on. Question 15. Who gains and loses from rising house prices? So think of both consumers and businesses and the government. So who gets the extra income from that and maybe the tax revenue from that? Question 16. Would it be advantageous to borrow money if you expected prices to rise? Would you want a fixed rate loan or adjustable rate? So if prices are rising, interest rates will change as well. But what would you rather want, fixed or adjustable? Question 17. Are people worse off when the price level rises as fast as their income? When do you feel they would not often be as worse off? So if prices rise by 5% and my income only rises by 3%, I'm losing about 2% and I have to make up for that gap somehow. So that's what that question's focused on. Question 18 is just something related to page 150. So make sure to focus on that to answer that question. Question 19, suppose you have an annual income of $20,000 for the next 3 years. Inflation rate is 5%. What is the real value of your $20 3 years from now? So if inflation's 5%, every year our money erodes 5%. So how much will $20,000 buy 3 years from now? And if you ask your boss for a 5% raise every year to adjust for inflation, how much money should you ask your boss? So this number should be greater than $20,000. Question 20. Suppose you borrow $100 of principal that must be repaid at the end of 2 years, along with interest of 5%, if the inflation rate turns out to be 10%. To find this, you have to calculate real interest rates, which is the nominal interest rate minus inflation. Nominal minus inflation in this example. Now you want to focus on who is the winner. Is the creditor the winner or is the borrower the winner in this situation? The creditor will be the winner if the inflation is less than the interest rate, whereas the borrower is the winner if the inflation is greater than the interest rate. Question 21. What percentage did the price level increase? So you want to look at the percentage change in the formula. And the percentage change in the formula is looking at how much was the change over the base year. So for this week, we have all of these things that are due, and it's going to require a little bit more in-depth analysis and calculations. So let's review again what we have due. Reading Chapter 6 and 7, the unemployment rate, Chapter 6 quiz, Chapter 7 quiz, and the weekly homework. And if you have any questions, please let me know, as all your work is due on Saturday, but I look forward to your effort.